COVID-19 has certainly created a lot of challenges in the world and in the United States. A lot of challenges as well for food and farming. So thank you so much for joining us today to check in with some of my farmer friends. Welcome to another Farmer Friend Check-In. We're very excited to have some friends here today. And I'm going to introduce to you Rita and Liv. And I'm excited they're in the barn today. That is so much fun. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and your farm.
Sure. Like Natasha said, I'm Rita Vanderkoy. My father-in-law Dave, my husband, and I are partners here at Ochita Dairy in Worthington, Minnesota. We are 10 miles from Iowa and about 45 miles from South Dakota. So we're in the southwest corner of the state. We milk 2,000 cows here. And
what are some of the jobs you guys get to help with on the farm?
Well, there's never a shortage of work on our farm. I have 5 children, ages 1 through 14, and that is my biggest job, is raising the next generation. Some of the other things that I help with, I work with the baby calves. And so my daughter Liv and I just finished feeding baby calves for the morning.
Awesome. And you got some rain, it sounds like, last night. So you're in the shelter.
Yes.
Yeah. It's always better.
We are in this barn. This barn we built just as Joe and I were finishing up college at the University of Minnesota. So this barn was built in 2001, and then it was added on to 3 years ago and changed to cross ventilated. But you can see that it has like the older style roof, like what they did 20 years ago with the peak in it. And it's such a neat barn. We've done family photos here and stuff.
It is a really cool view. I'm not going to lie. I love it. So you milk cows. So where does your milk go? Like, what product does your milk go into making?
So that our milk goes to Sanborn, Iowa, and then it's made into cheese, like a lot of big box for restaurants, and yeah.
Now, how often do you have groups out? Like, how often do you give tours?
It seems like it comes in bunches, and like if we have an open house, then we'll end up continuing to do smaller tours because people hear how neat it is and how much they want to see. We did a huge tour last June. We had 6 charter buses and different states charter day, and that's been our biggest one ever. We haven't had any lately. We've been having kindergartners out this year, so it's just a different year.
So let's talk a little bit about the times we're in now. So I'm so glad Liv's here too, because, tell us about school and how that all went with having a really busy farm and trying to distance learn at home. Was it like better than ever, or was it really frustrating? Like, what did you think?
Well, it depended on the days, but a lot of days I got done earlier than I would have on a normal school day. So I could play outside a lot. I spent a lot more time outside and doing other things. Since I do a lot of activities on when school's in season, but now all those activities have been canceled, so I have more time to come here and help my mom keep calves and things like that.
That's awesome. And what was it like for you, Rita, having lots of different ages and things?
Yeah, there are definitely some challenges. I have the advantage in that I love school. I love learning. I could do math all day and it's fun for me. So that is different. There are some parts that I really liked. I love knowing that we didn't have to rush through any of our meals. I thought that was fantastic. I thought my son was able to get in on so much of the spring planting. That was fantastic. I think there's always good with the bad, and I think we definitely saw this. There are parts of this that I will really miss of having the quarantine, but I won't admit we're ready to get back in it and to resume our normal lifestyle.
What are some of the best questions, Liv, that you've ever heard about dairy animals that people ask you?
Good question, but I always think it's funny when kids come in for tours and they're like plugging their nose the whole entire time. They think It's just a different smell. It just takes some getting used to. Like, kids don't like sauerkraut for the most part. I mean, that's a fermented food. So I think just the fermented feed is a different smell.
Yeah, I agree. It takes some getting used to, but once you're used to it, it's really like joyful. Like I love the smell of silage. Yeah. Yeah. So what is your favorite part of living on a dairy farm?
Do you want me to go first? I think for me, the favorite part of living on a dairy farm is that no 2 days are the same. And I alluded earlier to, like, I love learning. I love things like that. And on the farm, it's such an evolving, it's such a dynamic, changing thing that we can keep learning. It's never boring. We always have opportunities for change. And I love that.
How about you, Liv?
My favorite part is probably like when my cousins and I come together to mow lawn at the dairy. That's really fun. I also like feeding calves and doing like lots of different things on the farm. It's so much fun because you get to see lots of people and it's really just fun.
You sound like a really hard worker. That is really good. It's good to learn that at a young age. So congratulations on that. So Rita, tell us how we can find more out about your farm and your family. You're an active blogger and you really love to share the story of your farm. So tell everyone how they can find you.
Right. If you Google "So She Married a Farmer," I will pop right up. You will see my face. I have a Facebook page, and that I maintain quite well. I have a presence on other platforms, but I don't maintain them as well. I've learned that you can only do so much. Like my family is my top priority, and our farm, and my faith is a huge part of our lives. And then there's all these other little things that I want to fit in. And so I blog as I have time. My last blog, I got just a lot of compliments on. I talked about what a quarantine life is like for a toddler. Like, I wrote it from the perspective of my 1-year-old son, who thinks it's like the best thing ever to have all his siblings around to play with. I do a lot of blogging just about our family life. And then I blog a lot about just different pictures on our farm when I'm motivated by a great picture I've taken.
That is awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm glad. So I hope everyone goes and finds you and reads all your stories. And so how many cows are in the barn that you're in right now?
We have 2 barns. Originally, this barn that I'm standing in was a 500 cow barn. And we built it with a double-A parlor, and we were going to double and have it like a mirror image, like an H, like barn, parlor, and then we were going to build another barn on this side. And then just some of the ways that we care for cows and we ventilate barns changed. And so we built the other barn on in a different style, and then we wanted to retrofit this barn so it could be that newer cross ventilation style because we were so impressed. And we've just grown way more than we ever thought we would. And we just keep changing and evolving and adapting.
Yeah. And it costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of capital to do, that work. So it, definitely is tough. And the markets haven't been like the most awesome for a few years. So it's tough to keep up.
It's been really, really interesting how the markets keep going up and down and up and down, but that's what farming's like, and we've learned that that's what it's like. And I think you have to take a really long view on things. Or even I think that's made it easier for us to deal with the quarantine. Like this seems like each day can be really long, but in the grand scheme of things, you look back and you'll say, that wasn't such a huge part of my life. It was just a couple months. And with dairy markets, they're always going to go up and down. No, we always encourage people to drink milk and eat cheese and yogurt. We just think that's just a wonderful part of your diet. And when we give tours, people are often thinking about these things, and we always make sure we include cheese sticks or ice cream. Obviously, ice cream goes over well with kids. So we want to always just encourage people that's a really good part of your diet. And if you have any questions to, reach out to dairy farmers. We really do want to answer your questions. And we aren't the experts at everything, but we're the experts at our cows. And we know our cows, and we want you to be asking us those questions. And we love to hear your questions.
A lot of people have questions about how animals are cared for on farms, especially dairy farms. You see a lot of questions about that. So what are some of the things you do on your farm to make sure your cows have everything they need?
Well, there's this term that we have amongst dairy farmers, and it's just such a strange term to other people, but we call it cow comfort. And any dairy farmer always just talks about cow comfort as if, and when we give tours, people are like, what does that mean? Well, that means that anytime we can, we want our cows to be as comfortable as they can, because we know that that's going to be better for our farm in the long run. So the things that we do is like where they lay, that needs to be clean, that needs to be perfect. We bed them with sand because we think that's cow comfort. That's the ideal. These cows they have all kinds of ventilation and fans, and that's just part of how we care for our cows. So that's one thing that we do. But I think the thing that is the most important is every day we're just changing, and we're trying to find ways that we can best care for our cows, because we know that when we care for our cows, they take care of us.
Another way we keep our cows very comfortable is we have brushes, and they really like it. You can really tell what ones use it and what ones don't. We have 2 in this barn that we're in, and 1 in the other barn.
And when we give tours, people just love to see the animals get underneath it and just kind of move their shoulders around. Yeah.
I bet. Where is the spot they're always like to be getting brushed on?
So it's normally, well, it depends on the cow. A lot of them have the egg brush.
Yeah, we have a couple different style of brushes, and they will go from one to the other, and they work differently. So it is very interesting to watch animal behavior. Yeah.
Well, those cows behind you look awesome, and they look super content, and that is great.
What is this lady doing? They're looking.
They don't know that they're going to be on film. It's a shining moment, cows. Awesome. Well, it was so good to see you guys. Have the best day. I hope that the weather stays great, and that you all have a super summer, and that you do get out of the house a little bit and off the farm and do something eventually. It'll happen. It'll happen. All right. See you guys later. Bye.